tips on how to start your car in -40. First step, bring your battery from home and keep it warm for the night. Get your battery in the car. Open the hood. Place it where it belongs. Connect the cables. Get them tight. And now crank your car. Press clutch. Turn lights off, just in case. Ooh, that's cold. Let it warm up for at least 5 minutes. And now you're done. Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're gonna keep working on the Ford Focus. And we gotta do rear brakes, one front axle, and it should be ready to go. I'm doing the axle now. I'm using my 3/4 inch breaker bar and some extension pipe. So I got it to crack it loose. Just have to get it loose all the way out. I got the nut out. Now we're gonna hammer a bit on the shaft and see if it moves. It looks like it doesn't look like it's going, but we might have a problem. I'll take the wheel off and start disassembling. Maybe it's gonna make it a little better. I took the wheel off and as you can see, the axle moves freely. So we'll have to take some bolts out. We'll probably take the control arm off so we can swing it out. As you can see right there, the boot is ripped. So that's why we're replacing the axle and just make it fresh and nice. Finally got the axle out. You can see this boot is pretty badly torn. I'm gonna install a new one. So this is a ball joint. You'll have to take this out. I took the tie rod end as well to make it a little easier. This is the bracket where the bearing goes. There is a bearing in the middle of the drive shaft. And back there, that's the axle hole. There is oil coming out, so don't forget to put some kind of pan so you don't get oil all over your floor. This is our new axle. It's really long because it's one piece with a half shaft. So we'll have to install it. It's nice and shiny, and it's gonna probably work for a long time. The drive shaft is in. I just have to tighten the axle nut, put the tie rod end back in, the ball joint is in. I'll just put the bolt through. Here we go, the bolt is in. Now we put the nut on. Yeah, and tie rod ends and make it all tight. And we're good to go. This is all done. The axle nut is tight. Tie rod end is tight. Quarter pin is in. The ball joint is tight. And bearing bolts are tight too. You can't really see them from here, but it's all good. Doing brakes on the Ford Focus is a bit tricky. First of all, you pop this cap off. Then there is a big nut. That's the wrong size. And you need a puller like that. So you'll have to, bolt it in with your lug nut after you undo the nut, and slowly pull it with a ratchet. I'll show it a little bit better once I'm at that stage. There is a bearing in the drum, and those bearings are really fragile, so you have to be really careful. So you put your ratchet on and just start going. And it's almost out. Here we go. I really don't suggest using a gun, because it might wreck this bearing, and they're not too expensive to replace, but you have to pay more and wait for shipping. Or if you are able to save it, why don't you?
Medium weekend. Peculiar imagination and selective memory. We've replaced all the ugly with folklore imagery. You've replaced all the monsters with princesses and chivalry. Gone to a place with low light and low density. The type to cut up a flower and stick it in your kitchen. More like the type to slice your finger cutting a fresh picked lemon. Misplace the blame. Forget all responsibility. Medium weekend. Eyes wide. Pretend. Medium weekend. Eyes shut. Breathe in. You're not my friend, I'll take back that spare key. Blissfully lost my problems during 2 days of festivities. Blissfully left the real world using pill form make-believe.
The brakes are back in, and the drum is back in. It's spinning. It's time to put the cap on. Just lightly tap it with a hammer. Or not so lightly. Okay, here we go. The torque spec is 174 foot-pounds for the wheel bearing nut, and the car is pretty much done. The only thing I gotta do is some wiring for the brakes, because top mount doesn't work, and I found out there's a few broken wires. I'll show it to you right away. So this is what's wrong with the wiring for the top mount brake light. Yeah, you can see this wire is broken, and some of them are really cracked. There is this boot that goes into that hole, and it all goes back here. So I disconnected the top mount, took it off, feed the wire down, and got this boot off, and I got a really nice clear view. I'll probably electric tape the broken wires. It would be nice to redo them, but unfortunately I don't have any wire, so I'll just fix what I can and hope for the best. I'm using those crimps to connect the wires. Those honestly work the best for automotive. The best would be to use some heat shrink on top of it, but unfortunately I don't have any, so I'm gonna use just regular electrical tape. Okay, this is done. It doesn't look too pretty, but it should work. And when you're working in tight spaces, you can do something like this. Get like a pan or a piece of plastic and put your electrical tape on it, so it's easier to roll. Fixing this high mount actually turned into a bigger job than I thought it would be. So I connected those wires and it still didn't work. So we started digging through the wiring, and I found those white wires that do not look original. So, okay, what's happening now? Okay, it's a bad connection right here. Okay, I'll redo it. Anyway, so I found those white wires, so they don't look original, and my friend was helping me for a while here, and we figured out that the wiring is completely wrong, and it does not work. So somebody hacked it before, and when they hacked it wrong, and it didn't work. So we actually had to reuse those wires to make it all work. And I had to feed one of the wires to here, to the top mount, because it was getting no power, and I didn't want to spend any more time looking for broken wire or something, and it was hacked before me, so might as well. And yeah, now it's all working. I'll just have to redo this connection here because it's bad contact.